What's up, Illusioneers? It's the Wizard here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bicycle Autobike #1 deck, and this is the 2017 version. Now, taking a look at the tuck case, the Autobike #1 deck is available in both red and blue, and as a quick side note, it was printed earlier in 2016 with metallic foil, embossing, and a custom sticker seal, but this was all abandoned in the 2017 version, which carries a flat tuck case, a standard black sticker seal, and no embossing. Now, taking a closer look at the tuck, as you can see on the front, we have the text Bicycle in an old style font with an off-color spade there in the middle, some border scroll around it, and at the bottom, United States Printing Company, Russell and Morgan Factories, Autobike #1. Now on the side, we have the text air cushion finish made in USA. The other side reads the exact same way. At the bottom, we have the barcode and some ad copy. At the top, we have standard size, retro face, and the standard black sticker seal, and here is a quick peek at the back design. Now, opening up the tuck flap, there's some more ad copy on the inside, but aside from that, the rest of the tuck remains unadorned. Now, with this deck, you will get an Autobike #1 ad card that gives a little bit of background on this deck. Now, setting that aside, you will also get a social media ad card as well, and on the back of both ad cards, as you can see, is the back design. Now, this deck does not come with a double backer, beings that most USPCC decks don't, but you can split the two ad cards and make your own. Now, I definitely do love this design, and it does have borders that are a bit thinner than on a Bicycle Standard, so for fans, this deck is definitely going to be stunning and a very interesting deck to look at. Now, set that aside, and we have two identical Jokers, a black and white Joker, and a colored-in Joker that features darker red, yellow, and blues. Now, setting that aside and looking at the faces of these cards, here is a look at the Ace of Spades, which is definitely a very stunning piece. And going through the rest of the deck, as you can see, the faces and pips have been given, as Bicycle calls it, the retro look. And the court cards are no exception to this, as they feature darker red shades, darker blues, and less vibrant yellows by comparison to a Bicycle Standard. And the same is true for the red cards as well. Now, taking a look at how this deck handles, the Bicycle Autobike #1 deck was printed on a stock that seems to be a tad bit thicker than that of a Bicycle Standard, but the deck I have in my hands right now feels to be a bit more soft and a bit more flexible. Now, that set aside, this deck does have an air cushion finish and a modern cut. Now, as I mentioned previously, the borders on the back design are a bit thinner than that of a Bicycle Standard, which means that fanning this deck face down will be no issue whatsoever. However, being that this deck does have the retro faces on it and the retro pips, the borders on the face designs are a bit thicker, and as a result, fanning this deck face up is a bit more of a complication. In terms of durability, I expect that this deck will perform very similarly to a Bicycle Standard deck. And on a final note, I definitely think that this deck is a solid move for both Magic and Cardistry, and while it may not be the best deck for either, it is definitely somewhere in between at being the best of both worlds, as I think it can be used for both.